Ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to the 55th episode of the Tom Kelly Show. Geez, these are questions I should have answered ahead of time. Oh my gosh, it has been that long. So Jen, just be my co-host for a minute, and then I'll turn you into a guest in a second. For those of you who have been following me on my journey this year, it started with the pandemic, like everybody else. Got laid off on a Tuesday, job stopped paying on a Wednesday, had no idea what to do with my life. And I made my pandemic a year of two sets of goals. One was chasing goals that were high in the sky, like this podcast, hoping that it would be a viral hit. And the other one was small, attainable goals I'm fixing myself. My guest today is a woman who I have been, or half of a couple I have been fascinated with for years. And individually, she's somebody who I find inspiring more than she finds herself in a lot of ways, or maybe she knows exactly how inspiring she is and she's just packaging it well. But I've told you guys about how I was on this Be on TV boot camp, which was like a class on how to be on TV. And at least two, if not three of my guests on this program have been inspiring people I met in that process. Jen Gottlieb, who is, what are you selling? Like if I sent someone to find you besides Jen Gottlieb on Instagram, where am I sending them to you?
No, send them to @Jen_Gottlieb on Instagram. That's the perfect place to send them.
And you're going to find, and this is where I'm going to go right into the interview, because I feel like there's two sides of her I desperately want to interview. One is a brilliant publicist. Two might be a performer like I am, a woman who had dreams of hosting shows, and some worked out, some didn't. And actually the third side of her is life coach and mindset coach. Jen, how do you describe yourself, or why should my listeners, if my podcast is about people who are pulling themselves up and forward, what should they know about you? How do you want them to know you?
Oh man, I am just a girl who has reinvented herself so many times and has created literally a life that I visualized in my mind years ago when I was at the rock bottom of all rock bottoms. And I did these things and created this life, one action step at a time. And I am just here on this podcast, if you are listening right now, to be able to tell you that you can do it too. And I truly believe that God has put me on this planet and given me the shit that he gave me, right? Like all of the horrible things that happened to me and for me, and all of the opportunities and all of the people that have come into my life for me to get myself here using these tools and then teach them to other people. So I teach about visibility. I have a PR company. I am an entrepreneur. I am a former performer. I've done a lot of crazy things in my life, but at the end of the day, I am like a personal development junkie, and I'm obsessed with personal growth and creating whatever it is that you want in this life. And that's what I'm here to do, is inspire people to do just that.
Listen, and it's funny because I've decided to take this podcast as a week-to-week journey right now. I've sort of let go of certain longer-term goals. But first, if you're listening to the show, there's a lot of people here who have products and things they're pushing. Jen and Chris Winfield's Be Seen on TV boot camp, which is now being rebranded, was a good gateway to get back into my own heart. And I actually don't even want to focus too much on that if you're not focused on that right now. But Jen really gave me the tools I had in myself, or remind me of the tools I had myself, to start getting pressed for some of the things I'm working on. And even if I don't apply it to being famous, you know, you can apply the step-by-step mindset of what she has. Actually, I'm kind of rambling for a second because I didn't. So long story short, audience, I thought we were going to push a product that Jen's not offering short-term. Let's own this part. Let's own this.
Yeah. Oh my God, let's own the moment. We're not pushing anything. We're just here to have a conversation and to provide value to your listeners. And I'm super excited.
Now, let's go slow. So first thing is, when I met you, you were teaching a class on how to get your ass on television.
Yeah.
Okay. Right now, that's on hold because you're doing other projects.
Well, no. An iteration of what you experienced will be happening. It will. So I want everybody that's listening to go follow me on Instagram, follow me on all the social channels, and you will see what it's going to be. It's going to be better. It's going to be bigger. It's going to be more improved, but it will be an iteration of the Be on TV Bootcamp.
Great.
Different though.
So we'll put that on the side and get to the human being stuff. You were the co-host of what, that metal show with, oh my God, Florentine.
Yeah.
Florentine. What was that experience like?
Man, that was one of the greatest experiences of my life. It was also one of those things where I was like, how the hell did this happen to me? Because I didn't like heavy metal music. I knew nothing about heavy metal music. I was an actress who booked a gig on VH1 where I was just the hot prize chick. And it turned into something that I could have never imagined that it turned into. And
you did what, 14 years on that show?
14 seasons, not 14 years. If it was 14 years, I'd be a lot older than I am.
I was going to say, you're holding up great for so you did 14 seasons talking heavy metal and building up a fan base there. You also were dating, you had the perfect life. You were dating a hot billionaire of some sort, and that all fell apart.
I wouldn't give him billionaire credentials, but he was pretty successful. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So during that point in time in my life, I was this actress on this show, and I went to work every day and basically put on a mask and a costume and was this version of myself that couldn't have been further from who I really was. I didn't like heavy metal music. I never dressed like a heavy metal chick. I mean, I put on this act and I loved it and it was super fun. But what I was doing is I was creating this character version of myself online, on social media, for everybody that basically knew me like as Jennifer from that metal show. And the more that I did that, the more inauthentic I was showing up in the world, the more inauthentic I felt within myself, and it showed up in every area of my life. And I was in a really toxic relationship with this guy that I honestly thought that I was just stuck in and I was going to marry him and that was it, because he had a lot of money and he took care of me and I could just go do my show and had that whole like Upper West Side like housewife mentality, and just thought that that was going to be my life. And usually when you are out of alignment and not doing what you're supposed to be doing, the universe will come and smack you back into alignment and it won't feel so good. And I'm so grateful that it did, because shit has to happen for the shift to happen. And within a week's time, I found out this guy was cheating on me. He kicked me out of our big $1 million apartment, and I found myself with no boyfriend, no job, because the show got canceled. I believe it was just that week, and no house. So I found myself like in this tiny little room in like a apartment with like 6 other actors, with a window that faced a brick wall, and no job and no idea who the hell I was. And I had to basically start from scratch and reinvent myself and figure that out. And that was the impetus for me diving into personal development and getting my life together and figuring out that I wanted to be an entrepreneur.
Okay, now, one of the themes of this show is Tom Kelly burdens his guests with his problems. If I am paralleling, if I'm mirroring my life to yours, if I'm explaining why I feel drawn to you, I would say, listen, I was very happy and blessed with warm-up work at ABC. I am still very blessed by doing, I'm the opening guy act at Tamron Hall now. And my terror as stand-up reopens, actually, or mirroring my life to yours, is I feel like the pandemic was my kick in the head to get me back into alignment. And I found a lot of things I love. If for my friends who follow me on Instagram, I fell in love with nature, long walks on the beach. I got time with my family, maybe too much in some ways, where I was trying to figure out what's the right balance of time with family. I was cut off from shallow relationships. I was cut off from shallow dating and stuff like that. And now I think the difference between your life story and mine is, now that the world's reopening, I'm terrified of falling back into the same habits.
Yeah.
So now for you, when you had the ex-boyfriend fall apart, the show never came back, but how long did it take you to start transferring your energy to the personal development world?
So when it initially happened, I'm going to be really real here because I'm a real human. The second that I ended up in that little room with that window that faced the brick wall, and I looked out the window, the second it happened, I was like, how do I erase this? How do I go back and get this guy back and get my life back? Because this is dumb. This is dumb. I can't do this. Like, I had it all set up. It didn't matter if my life, no, I was going to marry this rich guy. I was going to turn the other cheek. I should just say, okay, you're not cheating on me, whatever, go do your own thing. You know, like I should have done that. So all those thoughts came, and all those thoughts came every single day. And every single day I would look at that brick wall and I would write down in this notebook, one day I will know why this happened. One day I will know why this happened. I just felt this feeling that one day I will know. And I did not know, Tom, for a very long time. I did not know why. And I spent a lot of days thinking, shit, I did the wrong thing. I need to go back to my easy life. And I was so tempted so many times. But like we teach this in BSA for everybody, this is the program that Tom was part of. You don't need to believe in anything 100%. Right? I didn't believe 100% that I could make it. In fact, I probably barely believed 51%. You only need to believe a little bit more than you don't, that you were on the right path.
So
I believed 1% each day. And that got me to the next podcast or the next book or the next event. And I started trying to figure out who the hell I was. And every single time I would explore a little bit more, I would feel a little bit stronger and I would feel a little bit more empowered. And I would take another step in the right direction.
So let's go there. You're now in that room. You're looking out your beautiful window at a brick wall. That just sounds like a great analogy for where you're at in life. Yeah. What did you imagine? What was your vision at that point? Or did you even have one? See, I don't even know if I have a vision anymore.
No, I had no vision.
Okay, really? And do you
now?
You
don't have to have the vision. The vision comes. The vision comes with action. A lot of people say to me, they're like, oh my God, I need to have a purpose. I need to have a vision. I need to know exactly what I want to do. And until I know that, I can't take any action. I can't do anything because I need to know exactly what it is that I want to do. Most of the time, I would say 99.9% of the time, and I've accomplished a lot of the things that I've wanted to do, but I did not know I wanted those things until I started taking action in the direction of the way that I wanted to feel. So I didn't know what I wanted to do, but I knew how I wanted to feel. So I just started moving. Motivation, inspiration, momentum, all of those things, they do not just come to you. I promise, I've tried it. You can't sit around and get motivated. You just can't. The fairy doesn't come and tap you on the head and say, all right, Tom, here you go. Motivation. Oh, now you know what you're supposed to do with your life. No, motivation and momentum and inspiration come from getting tiny wins. Think about it, right? When you win a little, holy crap, that felt good. All right, I'm a little bit more motivated. This feels good. I like this direction. I'm going to do something again to get another win. And then those incremental wins all add up to create massive momentum in the right direction. And before you know it, you're figuring out your purpose and you're figuring out exactly what you want to do by taking action towards that thing.
So you would agree, get off your ass, even if you don't know where you're going.
Yes.
Okay. Now, for a person like you, did you even know what to work on? What was your first win that started moving you towards where you're at now?
Well, I knew that I needed to make money. I needed to get a job.
Okay.
And the thing that I always knew that I could do when I was an actress that I never did because Rich Boyfriend didn't want me to do was I knew a lot about fitness and I could be a personal trainer. And I thought that would be a dope job for an actress because you could make your own hours. And I was like, okay, this I could do. Let's just get a job. I'm going to become a personal trainer. Easier said than done.
Right.
But I did a lot. I took action in a lot of really scary ways. And when I say I did a lot of things that made me unbelievably uncomfortable. And when you're doing this whole take action before you're ready thing, the most important thing is that, and what I teach people now is just do one thing per day that makes you want to puke. If you do one thing per day that makes you want to throw up, you will create massive success in your life because success comes and confidence comes from doing things that scare you and getting to the other side. So getting my first personal training job was actually one of the scariest things I've ever done in my entire life because I decided that I wanted to work at the fanciest gym in New York City without ever having any experience.
Wait, and what was that gym? Was that Equinox?
Reebok Sports Club.
Equinox I worked out there, and that's where I met your husband.
That's where you met Chris?
Yes. Donnie Zolden introduced me to him in the lobby. That's freaky.
Yeah. Oh, so many connections are back to that damn gym. Everything. That's basically how I met Chris too.
I pay for that gym because if the gym cost $2,000 a year, I was making $3,000 a year off it, or make up a number, whatever it was. I've always made just more than the gym costs in connections.
That's exactly right. So I couldn't afford to work out at that gym. Rich boyfriend had paid for me to work out there. We broke up, no more membership. I said to my grandma, I said, Grandma, if you help me out with anything, please pay for this membership for me. I want to work at this gym. I need to get a job here. This is where I need to be because these are the connections that I need to make. I'm going to meet somebody very important here, and I'm going to become a trainer here because my dream is bigger. I just knew it was bigger than being a trainer. So I needed to work at the best gym with the most connected people. So my grandma paid for me to have a membership there. When I was just working out there, I made friends with the managers, with every trainer, and I basically begged them to give me a job without having any experience or my training certification. So I begged them. I remember sitting in the room at the interview, like I basically told this manager, I was like, I will clean up things in the gym all day, every day. I will do whatever you need me to do. Just give me a job here. Let me be a trainer here. And they did, and they took a chance on me. And it was not easy to get that job, but that was the beginning of everything.
Yeah, and not to get side railed, America, but this gym charges like $110 an hour for a trainer. To believe that any of the trainers had no experience now freaks me out for any training sessions I paid for.
By the time I started training, I did, because they made me like learn all, I had to do all the things.
And actually the best of the best are there. My swim coach now has a TV show on a Peloton or something stupid like that. No, they really do have the best of the best at this place. But there you are. So you said, all right, I am going to go be a trainer at a gym where people are connected. You just envisioned that was your next step.
I knew it. And I knew I couldn't go to any other gym. It had to be the best one. And because I just knew subconsciously, I didn't know 100% like what was going to happen after that. Like I didn't know, I'm going to use this as a stepping stone to something else, or I'm going to meet my husband here. I didn't know any of that. I just knew that was the place that I needed to be. I felt that pull. And so I created, a huge business there. And then I was like, hey, you know what? I should start doing this on my own. So I started doing it on my own outside of Reebok. And I will tell you this story completely transparently. They found out I was doing it outside on my own at Reebok. And Reebok fired me.
Yeah.
So, but here's what happened. Are you ready for this? This is the best thing that ever happened to me ever in my whole life. They fired me. And of course, in that moment, I was like, shit, here's another moment. What's going to happen to me now? But if they didn't fire me, then I wouldn't have created I created a personal training company in New York City. I had trainers training all around the Upper West Side for me. I had an online coaching business. I was forced to create my own thing. Did I know that I wanted to create my own company, my own business? Like we said, did I have it all mapped out in my head? Hell no. But that happened. And so I just started doing it. And the more that I did it, the more that it built. And I built like an incredibly big, very successful company. And then Skip, this is how all the dots connected. So crazy. So they basically told me, you can never come back to this gym ever again. You're fired, go away, blah, blah, blah. They said I could never
work out.
No, I couldn't be a client. I couldn't pay to be there, nothing. But then Equinox purchased it.
Right.
And I was a member of Equinox by the time Equinox purchased it, but I still never went back there because I kind of felt weird about going back there. But one day, Tom, I was walking down the street, I was walking past the gym, and I felt that pull again. Okay. And I felt the universe say to me, you need to go back there, Jen. You can go back there now. You need to go back there. There's someone there that you need to meet. You still didn't do everything that you needed to do there. And meanwhile, I had this successful, all right, I could go in and pay for it. So I went in, it's an upgrade. It's more expensive. You can't just work out at that Equinox. Yeah. Equinox Sports Club, it's more expensive. So I walked in and I was like, I want to upgrade. I'm going to work out here. Of course, all the old people that fired me, they were long gone. Don't work there anymore. Okay. Start working out there. Within 2 weeks of being there, I bumped into a trainer that I used to date ages ago when I worked there, named Carlos. Not Carlos Soto, Carlos Velasco, as you may know him.
Yeah, wait, tall, a little, soccer, very into soccer, right?
That's right. Yep.
Nice guy.
Bumped into Carlos. Carlos is like, what are you up to? What are you doing? And And I was like, I have my own business. I'm doing this online stuff. I'm coaching people. I'm like, really crushing it. And he's like, oh my God, you should know this guy, Chris Winfield. He works out here. Maybe he could help you. And I'm like, okay, cool. Sounds good. Right? Like my word of the year is connection. I want to connect with people. I signed back up for this gym to meet people and connect with people. Carlos, my ex-boyfriend that I found while working there ages and ages and ages ago, just because I felt like I needed to work at the best gym ever, connected me to my now fiance, Chris Winfield, who now we have built this company together. So now you know how all the dots connect. And how that's
kind of scary is if you substitute Carlos, the soccer loving gym guy, and substituted Donnie Zolden, the owner of Stand Up New York. That's how I met your husband too, except I'm not banging him. Yeah, that's pretty much how that happened. But I guess that's one thing that I'm bad at that I think you're good at is I don't like hobnobbing. I never really loved hobnobbing or up climbing. And these, I know there's, and I don't mean to point slurs or insult what you do, but I never liked networking. I always liked, hey, I'm good and people will find me. And the one thing I learned from your class, not to bring it back to the business end of things, was to get back to just staying in touch for the sake of staying in touch. Making friends for the sake of making friends. And what advice do you give to people who are shy about that stuff or don't want to go to the party with the cool kids? Like, this is one that drives me nuts. That's been driving me nuts for the last couple of weeks on the show is I am not big in the cool comedy clubs. Take that, Donnie Zolden, who introduced me to you. But I'm not. And I'm not getting enough work from the clubs that are booking me. But I don't want to go to clubs and I said this last week, and it's the opposite of what I've learned from you is I'm tired of asking for things. What advice do you give people who are tired of asking for stuff?
To give more. So here's the thing. I hate going to parties. I hate networking. I hate hobnobbing. I hate it too. I don't like it. I hate it actually so much. And so I have to reframe the entire thing. And if everybody does this reframe, you will never feel like you are networking again. You will never hate it ever again. And people will be begging to do things for you. And we taught this, and I hope you're paying attention, but whenever you walk into a room or whenever you have a conversation with anybody, just think about how you can help them. Whether it's asking them a bunch of questions about themselves and being super interested and making them feel incredible when they walk away from the conversation, like, wow, I love that guy. I don't even know why I love him. I just love him, because people love to talk about themselves. Or getting super creative and thinking, how can I help this person? Get creative and then just help people. If you walk into a room and say, I'm going to figure out how to help one person in this room. I'm going to ask them questions. I'm going to figure out how I can help them. And I'm going to provide value to one person. When I'm done doing that, I can leave. That's what I do at networking events. I go, okay, I'm going to find one person in here that I can help. And then when I am done doing that, I'm out of here. I am in my hotel room and ordering room service and watching Netflix. But my goal is to figure out how I can help someone. Now, the law of reciprocity is the most valuable thing on the face of the planet, right? When I help you, Tom, if I were to just out of the blue do something really nice for you for no reason at all, just like, oh, you know what? I know that Tom should know this person. I'm going to make this connection. It would be really good for him. And I provide that value. What would you do after?
Well, listen, if I'm being honest and, if the Brooklyn boy comes out at me, I'd be very suspicious first.
Really?
Honestly, I think I don't know if that's a New York thing. I mean, well, I grew up Italian-Irish from Long Island and from Brooklyn. And yeah, there's two sides of it. And to be fair and to be clear, the why the fuck are they doing something nice for me thing, I try to get over. Like, have you ever read the book, The Godfather?
No.
Okay, everybody should read the book, The Godfather, in addition to the movies. It makes the movie come to life. But the concept is Don Corleone never took favors. He only did favors so everybody would owe him. And that's a big Sicilian thing is you're Jewish, right? Yeah. So, and I feel like that's a cultural similarity we sometimes share is you almost don't want to take favors from people because you don't want to hear about how they did you a favor for the rest of your damn life.
Yeah. Yeah. And the key is to not go into it wanting anything in return. And if the person does decide that they want to help you, then they do. And like, I would never do anything for you thinking, oh, I'm going to do this for him so that then he owes me something. Maybe some people would, but I wouldn't. And after you figured out that I just did it just to be nice, maybe you had to go down the rabbit hole and say, Jen, why the hell did you do that for me? Like, is there something that you need? Is there something that you want? I'm like, no, I genuinely just thought you should know someone. Cause that's what I just do. I just help people. And because it feels good. At the end of the day, it is selfish because it feels good to help people. I enjoy helping people that I care about.
I love that line. I love that line. And you had a great line that I actually asked you to re-quote for me. It was you're going to phrase it the better way. Every time you don't ask for something, you're robbing someone of the chance to do something that makes them feel good by helping you.
Yeah, pretty much. That's pretty much it. I'll
fix the grammar and rewrite that later, people. I'll listen to how I said that. But yeah, like when you ask people to help you, your theory is you're giving them a chance to feel good by helping you out.
Listen, if the person cares about you, if you think about like people that you care about, that you truly love, your family, your friends, if they say, Tom, I specifically need your help, like only you can help me with this. Would you be able to do this for me or hook me up? And you have that power and you're able to do that for them. And then you go and you help them and they're like, oh my God, thank you so much. Wouldn't you feel incredible?
Yeah, no. And I like that. I'm not discounting that. It's just, I guess you're right. When I grew up, we grow up with certain things, Catholic humility. I mean, actually another one I was going to ask you was, completely unreal. Actually, it probably could be a good segue into a couple of the things I have on my list here. Is listen, I drive a beaten up old car, and part of me wonders if that's empowering me. Like if you think about the money I save every year, not paying for a new car, not paying for a lease, not paying for this, not paying for that, or am I affecting my vision, not having fancy things in my life? Should I move into the bigger apartment so I can believe I deserve the bigger apartment instead of having, it's just funny, every time you've talked about your brick wall, I keep looking at the Zoom meeting picture of the brick wall behind me and I go, am I imagining walls? But, do I need nice things to look like I deserve nice things, or is that fake? Or is my authentic self that 1991 Volvo?
That's for you to decide. That's a personal thing. I can't tell you what you should do, but I mean, for me, I've always been this way and I will always continue to be this way because I truly believe in the actual law of the universe, which is a scientific law that like attracts like. I truly believe it. And I truly believe that if I have an abundant mindset and I spend money and I surround myself with things that are things that I want to have and that put me in a frequency of abundance, meaning, I have everything that I want and everything that I desire, and I live a high quality life, then more of that will come to me. And I truly believe that, and I've always been in that. And when I spend more money, this is what it does. It forces me to need to make more money, right? So if I were you and I was driving a beat up car, I would go buy an expensive car because I know myself. And I know that expensive car, like so how much more money do I need to make this month in order to afford this car? And I would subconsciously be going every day. I would drive that car. I'm like, all right, here we go. I got to make that extra $2,000 for that car payment. I got to make that extra. How can I do that? And so upgrading my life has always pushed me to just make more money. So instead of pulling back and saving more, which is the more responsible thing, probably I spend more and it makes me make more.
See, and it's funny, that's the immigrant in me, or the grandchild of immigrant upbringing of you need to save because you never know when a rainy day will come. And listen, for most of my listeners out there, you are not going to be successful. Put your money in the bank. That's probably not the right way to say it, but have a rainy day fund. I'm a big believer in the rainy day fund.
Always.
Has let me live the creative life I've lived this year. And listen, actually I know you're a big fan of James Altucher. I'm slowly listening to his book. He had a great line, failure porn.
Yeah.
And I am trying to coin the phrase. Next week, we're going to start coining the phrase success porn. And that's what I think you are. You are success porn. But if you Google success porn, nothing else but porn comes up. So we need a better word besides porn.
Yeah.
But along the lines of success porn, journals, gratitude lists, vision boards. Some people say this is all full of shit. Yeah. What do you say to that?
Yeah, I mean, Listen, I'm not a woo-woo person. I'm not. People like, I'm not one of those pie in the sky, airy fairy. Like my mom's a Reiki master, and growing up, I was like, you are full of shit.
I would
Like,
not guess that about you, really.
I am not. No, I am nowhere near there.
But you were raised by a Reiki energy master type person.
Yes, I was raised by that, and I was always like anti it all. In fact, I rebelled against it. I was like, get this away from me. But I am a fan of science. And I love studying the brain, and I love studying quantum physics, and I love experimenting with my own shit. And so I have done so many experiments in my life where I have used this power of visualization, right? Tricking my brain to believing that I have something before I even have it, feeling grateful for something before it's even really mine, but feeling the gratitude for it, and visualizing and seeing it, and having the exact experience in my life time and time and time again. And I'm not saying that because I visualized it or wrote it down or put it on a vision board, it magically came to me. That's not how it happened, and that's not how it works. But how it does work is the subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between a real memory and a fake one. So we can design memories in the brain, and the subconscious will start to get tricked that that thing actually happened. And if you feel like you've already done and experienced and had that thing, it makes the action steps towards getting that thing a hell of a lot less scary, and it makes the opportunities a lot more noticeable, right? That's how it works. It doesn't magically come to you. You gotta do the stuff to get the thing, but the doing is usually what people don't do because they're scared, because we're humans and we have fear, right? So we put it off, or we procrastinate, or we say, I'll do it tomorrow, or we'll say, I can't do it until I do this, or until I'm ready, or whatever. But when you've made the memory in your mind, and you have convinced yourself that it's yours already, and you know that it is true, and you've said it out loud, and you look at it every single day, you're going to take action, because it's going to be a lot easier. It just is. And so that's how I've created everything that I've done in my entire life.
And if you don't want to call it The Secret, if you don't want to call it the law of attraction, you could call it, my father gave me a book. It's funny. My father's very anti The Secret and vision boardy in some ways. But on the other hand, he gave me a book as a kid called The Power of Positive Thinking by Vincent Peale. It's the same stuff that's been around for years. It's just in different packages. And right now, the hocus pocus, Rhonda Byrne's secret thing is just a way of marketing an old message they marketed to Olympic athletes to housewives, for lack of a better word.
1,000%. And, you know, I'm all about The Secret. That was the book that like helped me to create Manifest when I was Linda and the Wedding Singer, and then all the other things. However, there is a big piece missing in The Secret, and that's the action piece. You have to take action. You have to do the stuff to get to the thing. You don't just visualize it and it appears. I wish that'd be great. Like I visualize a Ferrari, like make it come outside, like, you know, drive by and come pick me up. That's not going to happen. But if and it really, there is a scientific piece to it where energy attracts energy, right? So if you think about it, if you walk in, this is a great example. If we were to get on this conversation and I was like, hey, Tom, what's up?
Right.
You would probably be really negative and pull away from me, right? Like you would my energy would then attract negative energy from you, and we would just have the negative energy. But if I came onto this like I did, and I was like, all right, Tom, let's go, right? Your energy would match mine, because like attracts like. And everything is vibrating, everything is energy, right? So if we have positive energy in the world, we're going to attract positive energy back to us. It just is. That is science.
I wonder, now maybe this is partly because deep down I'm a negative person, but if you have seen me perform, and I know we're at 8 minutes left with you, if you've seen me perform, I tend to gravitate to the most miserable person in the room, and then I am obsessed with cheering that person up. And it's not just my own flaw. That's a flaw comedians have, that they gravitate to the most miserable. So I don't know. I think you're right. I do believe like attracts like. To your point about, you know, like I'm trying to think of little things that have happened since I've seen you last. So when I did the Be Seen on TV class with Jen, and you talk about things falling on my lap, I wound up in the New York Post for having dad bod. I was the fattest I've ever been. And somewhere a little bit after that, I saw a girl on Tinder or one of the dating apps. She had her Instagram name. We matched, but she never commented or talked to me. But she was a girl who was my type. And I decided I want to date that type. And that girl has been my magnet to losing weight. And since I've known you, Jen, I have lost not just 15, for those of you who were here last week, but now 16 pounds.
Congrats, that's amazing.
My goal, and this is where we're going to get into a couple of things because I want to speed through. I have a vision, but I also have a deadline on this part of the vision. I want to weigh what I weighed on my 40th birthday. If I'm owning my age, I'm turning 45 on June 10th, and I weighed 188, I think, on my 40th birthday, which was, I think, what I weighed on my 35th birthday. But anyway, I think 188 is sort of the vision goal. I'll be happy with under 190. So here's a few things. One, do visions need deadlines?
So I wouldn't, I mean, sometimes. So if know yourself. So if you know yourself and you know that if you put a deadline on it and you get on this podcast and you tell all of your listeners, I'm going to be this weight by this date, will that push you to take action to be that weight on that date?
Yeah, and it has. So that, and there we go. Yes. But does that work with other things? Like I'm saying, I want to attract somebody like this girl.
Yeah.
Do deadlines work for that?
So I manifested Chris completely. You know the story of how he came to be, but I manifested him in a way of, I visualized him every day. I spoke to him every day before he existed. I wrote down and felt my gratitude for him every single day. I wrote him letters, all these things before he existed in my life. Did I know what day I was going to meet him? No. Did I say I'm going to meet him by this day? No. I just knew that he was with me already and that he existed on the planet and he was looking for me too. And so I spoke to him every day so that I knew that when I met him, I would know because I was so familiar with him. I knew he was 6 feet tall. I knew he lived on the Upper West Side. I knew he had a kid from a previous marriage. I knew he was divorced.
You visualize being a stepmom?
1,000%. I knew that I was a second wife. I said, I am a second wife. And my person has a kid already because I want him to know how to love. And I knew he had tattoos and what?
No, I would not have guessed that.
Yeah. I wanted that.
That you I joke about that me being 44 and single and never married, that I'm ready to graduate straight to my trophy wife, or I'm ready to be the trophy husband. But you genuinely felt I'm going to be the second wife ahead of time.
Yeah. Somebody actually, who was my client that told me that? The guy the producer of The Chew. Oh my God, why am I blanking on his name? You know him, one of the most famous.
Which, the Elliot, not Gordon Elliot.
Yeah, Gordon Elliot. He said to me, I was training him and he's like, you're going to be a second wife. You want to be a second wife, believe me.
And say that in the British accent. You're going to be a second wife.
Yeah, probably. I can't do it, but that was pretty good.
Okay, that's enough. I don't even know if he's British, but he had a great voice.
He did.
And now you didn't find that insulting?
No, I was like, hell yeah, I'm going to be a second wife because I want him to get all the bad shit out before he gets to me. And I wanted him to have a child so that, because I was dating all these guys that no offense to you that you don't have a kid yet, but they just had no responsibility or anything. And I knew that for me, I wanted someone, and I don't know if I want to have kids. So I wanted someone that already knew how to love a human and already had that experience. And I just knew in my heart, I was like, this is my person. I know. And I knew he didn't drink alcohol. I knew that too. I wrote all this down. Wow. And I knew that we were going to create a business together. I knew he was an entrepreneur and I knew that he was into personal development. I knew all of these things. And I knew that we were going to go to events together. And I visualized us at these events. And so that when I met Chris and when I met guys that were not him, let's go back because I went on a lot of dates and I was like, oh, you're not him. It made it a lot easier. I know who he is. It's not you. Bye. But when I met Chris, I was like, holy shit. That's him.
Wow.
And
yeah, wow.
Yeah.
So here we are. We're at the final button on the interview before you have to go hang out with Pope Francis or whatever you got going on. You know where I want to go. You and my listeners both know me well enough to know where I want to go professionally. You know where I want to go romantically. What advice do you give me for the next month, if not year of my life?
I would do one thing every single day that is scary to you that moves you in that direction. So I would pick a dare of the day. You like James Altucher? He does this thing. When we used to hang out, we would do this dare of the day thing. Okay. And I do a dare of the day every single day. And I write it down in the morning. My dare of the day. What is my dare of the day? And it has to be something that scares you. And it has to be something that would move you forward in a direction, whether that is, all right, I'm going to go sit at a bar by myself and have dinner with no book and no iPhone, right? Or I'm going to go up to at least one woman today in real life that I find attractive. It's hard to do that now, but you know what I mean. Or
Yeah.
I'm going to go on, or I'm going to email 5 people today that I haven't spoken to in years, and I'm going to ask them for something, or I'm going to provide them with some kind of value. A dare of the day that feels uncomfortable, that will get you into the direction of where you want to be. And most of those dare of the days might turn out shitty. You might not get the results that you want, but every single time you practice doing something uncomfortable and taking action, you're putting more coins in the confidence bank, and it's getting easier to do. And believe me, if you do enough of them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 are going to hit. So I'm not going to tell you to sit around and visualize it and think about it. I want you to take one action per day at least that scares you and makes you uncomfortable, that will lead you towards what you want.
Jen, right on the minute, 44. What are we going to do with the extra 60 seconds?
Oh my gosh.
I know exactly what I'm going to do. One of the things Jen always talks about in her classes and on her social media is expressing gratitude. And that is what I'm going to do with you, my friend. I've enjoyed getting to know you. And I hope me, you, and Chris get to know each other more over the next year or two. I feel like we're meant to spend more time together, whatever the F that means. Okay.
1000%. I'm super grateful for you, Tom. This was so much fun.
So Jen Gottlieb, find her on Instagram, find her in the show notes. And you know what? It's a 40-minute show. I'm going to end it on this. Next week, listen, we're rotating. The theme of the show lately is self-help comedy, friends. So self-help comedy. And listen, half humor, half trying to figure out where the hell I'm going. And do me a favor, at podcast.tomkellyshow.com. Tell me a little bit about your journey, and maybe we could write back and forth as a community and figure out where we're all going together.
Subscribe to the Tom Kelly Show podcast on all the major podcast providers. Sign up for the Tom Kelly Show email list at TomKellyShow.com. And of course, you can find me and contact me personally at Tom Kelly Show on Instagram, Facebook, Clubhouse, Venmo, TikTok, and FarmersOnly.com.